So, as you guys can see, I've got wrestling on right now, watching SmackDown, and I'm also out of town today, but that is still not going to hinder me from giving you guys my predictions for WWE Backlash. Takes place in St. Louis, Missouri. And I happen to be not too far away from there, so we'll see what happens. Stay tuned. There may be some cool content coming to the channel here relatively soon. I don't know, but this show seems very predictable on the surface, but I am just going to make the assumption that it's not going to be that easy. So, without further ado, let us take a look at the card. We are going to start things off with the only non-title match on the show. And it is Gunther versus Pat McAfee. Now, I think the build for this has been very interesting. The fact that Gunther's lost his world title and now he's taking it out on poor Cole and Pat, and Pat's been given these really really good babyface promos, and then Gunther, it was either this week or a couple weeks ago, said, by the grace of God is, going to take my hands off you, which makes me think Gunther's probably going to kill Pat in this match. But I have heard some things that a certain bald-headed guy from Atlanta, Georgia might, keyword is in that sentence being might, show up relatively soon to start building to his last match. So this one could swing either way for me, but I'm going to stick with my gut, and I am going to go with Gunther as my winner. I think stuff with Goldberg, I think, will happen probably post-match, but I'm thinking Gunther will probably get the win on this one. Moving on to the Intercontinental title. Men's Intercontinental title, I should say. Dominic Mysterio versus Penta. Now, as much as I would love to sit here and say Penta's going to win the IC title, this is going to be the start of a big singles push for him. I don't think that'll be... I think this will be a really, really good match. But to me, I think Dom should have a pretty lengthy run with the title, and by lengthy run I mean he's kind of a tweener right now, but I'm thinking by the end of his run I think he'll be a full-fledged babyface. So that's not going to happen, at least for a while. So I'm going to say that Dominic Mysterio is going to retain his Intercontinental title. There may be some more friction in between the Judgment Day during this match, but I'm still thinking that Dominic is going to retain his title. Moving on to the Fatal 4-Way for the U.S. title. Jacobfatu defending this belt against laknight, Drew McIntyre, and Damianpriest. This one's going to be really, really fun. It's kind of combining two matches that we had at Mania 41. McIntyre, Priest, and laknight, Jacobfatu. It's going to be some unique combinations in this match, to be sure. But I think we can all agree that Mr. Jacob Fatu is going to walk out of Backlash still U.S. champion. He's not going to lose that belt for at least a while, I would say. I think he's going to keep a hold of that title for quite some time. Moving on to the women's Intercontinental title. Lyra Valkyria defending against Becky Lynch. Now, this one's very interesting. And either option is a good option. Because, both paths can lead down to some interesting things. On the one hand, you could keep the belt on Lyra, make her into a really, really, big-time star by giving her a big win over big-time Bex. Or, you can go the easy route and put the title on Becky, give the belt some credibility. Not to say that Lyra hasn't done that, but you put it on a main event star in Becky to give the belt some, credibility. Just much like how Cena did with the U.S. title back in 2015. And I am inclined to believe that they are going to go down my second route, and they are going to put the belt on Becky to, kind of lift up the prestige of the women's IC title and, have a main event player hold the women's mid-card title to kind of elevate its stock a little bit. Not to say that Lyra, hasn't been a bad champ, but I just think that's probably what's going to end up happening. Becky Lynch to win the women's IC title. And now, main event. Cena versus Orton. One last time. In Randy's hometown of St. Louis. I think everyone on the internet has said, oh wow, this is going to be a really boring match. Because Cena's now a heel, and Randy hasn't been, hasn't had a fast match in almost 20 years. So I think everyone's kind of writing this one off as it's going to be another boring main event to end off the show. But if the crowd is going to be really, really hot into this match, then I think they could potentially have something really good on their hands. But again, this is another easy prediction. Mr. Cena is going to hold on to that title. I don't see him dropping that title till maybe at least SummerSlam. Because, by God, Peacemaker Season 2 is coming out, and that man is going to hold on to that title and promote not only his show, but also that belt as well. So, that's just the way I see it. So, Cena is going to retain his title in the main event. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. All of the matches and all of my predictions for what is going to happen at WWE Backlash. I'm looking forward to the show. I think the show is going to be a really, really fun time as Mr. Rey Fenix makes his way to the ring on SmackDown. But I'm going to be enjoying Backlash really, really well this weekend. I'm going to have a fun time. But in the meantime, guys, be safe out there. Become your own superstars. And I will see you guys next time.